Hello everyone, welcome into my latest live video, the second one we're trying today to see if we got our little video glitch resolved. And if you weren't here earlier, we had done a video that was supposed to be our review of a mini PC, and we kept getting these weird glitches happening about every 30 seconds in the video. So I'm not confident I have resolved it. However, I think I resolved it. I thought, well, let's just do a video and you guys let me know if you still see any issues. I ended up doing a complete wipe and reinstall on the streamer. Prior to that, I did try changing the capture card and I did try changing cameras. None of that made any difference. A couple of things happened today that are beyond my control. One of which is the OBS beta. I always like to run the latest versions of OBS. And the OBS beta today was finalized into a final release while I was live. So while we were live with the beta, when I went to reinstall this, the beta wasn't available anymore. And I was very confused, like, what happened to my version of OBS? I don't think that had anything to do with the glitch, but I'm not sure what did. The other thing that happened in the title of the video is about a piece of RGB software that is ubiquitous. If you have a piece of software that controls your fans on your computer, or you have a piece of software that controls the RGB on your computer, once again, it continues to become a problem for computers. RGB is like the worst idea next to new Coke. I mean, I don't know who thought of it. But it's just a lot of extra money for bling that does nothing for PC performance, security, or reliability, and has the opposite effect of causing security exploits, computer crashes, and incompatibilities that just seemingly never go away. Whenever companies update their RGB software to fix a problem, it's just a matter of time before you have your next problem. If you built a computer without the RGB, you'd save money, and you would avoid having all these problems. But it's also true on the fan software. So the Intel Nook Extreme 11 that we have here has a piece of software available called the Intel Software Studio. And within that piece of Software Studio, what it does is it allows you to change the wattage of the CPU to adjust it for lower wattage, quieter operation, lower end performance on the high end, right, at the turbo side. And then you've got balanced, and you've got performance, and then you've got fan controls. And on top of that, you've got RGB controls. Now, I have removed that software because as soon as I put that software back in on my clean install, Windows Defender popped up and said Winring0 is a threat. It needs to be removed. So I said, okay, remove it. It says, okay, you need to restart. And on a restart, it goes Winring0 needs to be removed, and then just stuck in this continuous loop. So with the information that I was able to say, okay, I know that this problem is now attached to the Intel Software Studio, and this part of Intel is now owned by ASUS. Let's get the latest from ASUS, and we do have the latest. So ASUS is ignoring it. So I said, well, in part of my search, I said, what is the Winring0 doing with Intel? And come to find out about, well, nearly every manufacturer of RGB and fan controls uses Winring0. MSI uses it in their Dragon software. ASUS uses it in their, I can't think of what their creator software is called. Is it Crate? ASUS Crate. The Nook software uses it on the Intel Software Studio. OpenRGB, an open source piece uses it too. And so what ended up happening a while back, a couple of years ago, a security alert came out saying this function, this dynamic link library or whatever that's called by the RGB and fan control software that everybody's using, is very easily exploitable. And we recommend that you update to a locked down version. It doesn't mean the software itself is dangerous. It means that, I don't know, if you're hanging around the back alleys of the internet and downloading pirated software, your system can be overtaken simply because you have this Winring0 installed and it's not secure. But if you're not doing those things, even if if you don't lock your front door, Okay, if you close the door, but you don't lock the front door to your house, that doesn't mean you're going to get robbed. But it's a good idea to lock it. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing. The Winring0 file that is infecting everybody right now, and I use the word infecting loosely, has always been seen as a vulnerability, but not a virus. About 17 days ago, Microsoft updated the Windows Defender, Windows Security Antivirus to redefine the Winring0 vulnerable software as a severe threat. So they raised DEFCON up on it for some reason, and then it won't let you remove it because it's part of a service that's running. Oh my gosh. Now, could the glitches have been caused because the antivirus and the Performance Studio software were fighting? Antivirus would remove it, and it's not letting it go. An antivirus says, well, restart your computer, and then you restart, and then it puts it right back again, and they're back to the same fight. So I say, okay, I'll just uninstall the Intel Nook Software Studio. I don't need it anyway. I uninstall it, reboot. I still have the performance. The Software Studio service is running in the services section of Windows 11. It's still running. So I go into services, I tell it stop, and then and I don't want it to start automatically. I change its startup mode to manual or disabled. Then I reboot the computer. So now I've got the software removed and I've got the service stopped. And I tell Windows Antivirus Security Center, scan my hard drive. It says, warning, I found Winring0. Okay, now remove it. It says you need to restart. Okay, restart. Then I immediately run Windows Security again, full scan. It says, okay, I don't find anything now. Finally. Okay, so what changed? ASUS hasn't touched this software in ages. MSI, Dragon, OpenRGB, they've all been using the same Winring0. And Microsoft has always said, it's not a real good idea for you to run that. It's vulnerable. So to protect you from yourself, because according to Microsoft, you couldn't possibly comprehend how dangerous of a situation you were compromising yourself, we have reclassified this as not being allowed to run. We're no longer giving you the decision because you obviously can't make good decisions. That's the way I'm interpreting Microsoft actions. Or somebody at Microsoft made a mistake, except it's been about 17 days and they have not fixed that mistake. You get regular updates to Microsoft Security daily, and there's been no correction to it. So it looks like it's intentional. And if you search your own Google, you do your own Google search, what I try to say, and type Winring0 virus detected, whatever, Windows 11, you will find a lot of forums and Reddit and Microsoft where people in the last 2 weeks have been mentioning this. They've been affected by it. What do I do? Is this a false positive? It is, but by Microsoft's antivirus trying to remove it while it's running, could that be causing the glitches that we were? I don't know. Was there something in the OBS beta that was causing it that now that I can't get the OBS beta. It's gone now. So, I mean, it's probably a manual way to go and get it. But when I installed OBS, first thing it did, it said, there's a new update. Do you want to apply? I said, yeah, give me the beta. It said, there are no betas. There are no betas to get. Well, there was yesterday. Well, not today. Okay, was that the guy? I don't know. It's not my day today. I don't know what to tell you. The good news is we have a nice clean install. Not that it wasn't a clean install before. And reinstall the Elgato CAM software, which is what drivers, that's the way the drivers get installed on the capture card. And then restored the backup of my OBS that puts all of my assets back and all my settings and audio levels and all that other stuff. So everything should be back the way it was. And so far, what do you guys think? Have we been doing good so far? You let me know. Mara says this is the fastest stream and thumbnail I've ever created. Yeah, she literally did that in like 2 minutes because I wanted to go live while we still had some light. Because if I haven't resolved the problem, I still need to have time later tonight to fix it. And if that still doesn't work, then I'll fall back onto the old streamer. Because tomorrow, one way or another, we're live with the WoWe mini PC that was originally scheduled for today. So hopefully things go well today. But I wanted to make you aware, because so many people have RGB and fan control software on their machines, you may also see this alert coming from your system tray from Windows Security. And if you scan it with Malwarebytes, this thing that Windows Security is calling so dangerous, Malwarebytes says there's nothing wrong with that file. Nobody says there's anything wrong with it. And Microsoft agreed up until about 17 days ago. They changed their mind. What are the odds all of this just kind of happened to, you know, if this was good luck, I'd go play the lottery, but this is like just bad timing on my part. And I didn't do anything to cause it. It just, Microsoft made changes, OBS made changes, all that's beyond my control. None of my equipment changed, none of my settings changed, nothing changed on my side. Same computer, same setup, same everything. And the reason I do that is to avoid these problems. And that just goes to show you, there's nothing you can do to guarantee you won't have any problems. All you can do is hopefully reduce the frequency and likelihood of it happening to begin with. But still, things are not all within our control. And we just have to accept there's some things outside of our control. No matter what we do, you're going to deal with it. And it's part of what comes with the territory. If you don't like that, don't be on that territory anymore. So if we had had the old streamer up here, because it doesn't use any, it uses Thermaltake's RGB software, which might contain Winring0, I don't know. I haven't heard anybody complain about it. But I was having a whole different issue with that computer that was driving me crazy with the screen. And if I took the screen out, then there's really nothing to look at but a box on the desk. So what's the point of having it on camera? And that's what led us all the way around in this big circle. But it's been RGB that has been the greatest thorn in my career I have ever experienced that just will not go away. Customers that have problems that are the dumbest problems I've ever heard. My color blue doesn't work. My fan doesn't light up. Who cares? My fan controller doesn't talk to my other fan controller. I need special software because this company's RGB doesn't work with that company's RGB, and I have to run their software for their lights and this people's software for their lights. Isn't there one piece of software that will do them both? Yeah, OpenRGB, and that costs more money, well, potentially. To do what? And then you go, okay, everything's good now. I got it all working. And then they go, hey, that RGB software, that's vulnerable to attack. Okay, so that's really not a message for you or me. That's a message to ASUS and MSI and other RGB manufacturers to update their software. And they have not done that. Or at least some of them haven't. So a heads up for you. Because if you haven't seen it, you just might. And if you do, unlike me, you'll know what it is and why it is. And what you have to do to remove it is effectively get an updated version of the software, the RGB or fan control software. If an updated version is not available, you could probably just tell Windows Defender to ignore it. Just say, stop bothering me about this. But it's a little difficult to find that in the Windows security settings. They make it very difficult. The other thing you could do would be to simply stop the service. The I forget what the service is called. On here, it's the Software Studio, but on OpenRGB and MSI Dragon, it's another name. I can't think of it. But when you Google Winring0 virus Windows 11 and look at the dates within, the month of September, you'll see people in September 2025 complaining, hey, this started happening. What is it? Is it something I should worry about? And people discuss what you need to do to remove it, if you want to remove it, or bypass it altogether, ignore it. What a mess. All I wanted to do was review a mini PC today. I wasn't expecting any of this. And if you want to, you can just go ahead and run a virus scan now. And what you'll do, I'll show you right here. If we let's go to my desktop. Hang in there for a second. Everything is going to get a little loopy. Display capture should capture everything here. There it goes. Okay, so there's my desktop, right? Pretty clean desktop. We'll come over here to Windows Security. Over Virus and Threat Protection, then Scan Options. The quick scan may not find it. So Scan Options, go to a full scan, and at the bottom, click Scan Now, and then see if it finds anything. It should come up clean. But if you have any RGB or fan control software, don't be surprised if all of a sudden now, what was okay 2 weeks ago, Microsoft has decided amongst themselves that it's not okay anymore. I don't know what's going on over there. Okay, let me bring back camera 1. And let me open up the chat room and say hello to everybody. What am I doing? I don't need Microsoft Edge. Ah, here we go. I have to make a little adjustments, sort of like somebody moved my seat in mirrors. I like to have OBS just a certain size so I can have it overlay on top of the YouTube studio without covering up the chat room, but at the same time using as much screen space as possible so I can see the video output. And just let me check camera 2. Well, we're here just checking things. Camera 2 there. Yeah, camera 2 is working. And yeah, I don't see anybody complaining. Oh, Barry says the audio is not good. And now you guys are saying you're seeing glitching again. I haven't seen the glitching yet. Maybe because I wonder if the glitching is related to the antivirus running. Is it after I started the antivirus scan that it started to glitch? Audio is choppy, okay. Looks good, that looks good. OBS settings haven't changed, I'm just verifying. Gary said I had an echo. Okay. I wonder if that was part of display capture. Let me, if display capture is capturing the audio, which it shouldn't be, that would explain the echo. So let me just find out. Go back to display capture. And I'm looking here, and you see how it says cam audio? I don't see one for display capture. So where would it be getting the audio? Right-click, properties, display audio. Don't see. I'm wondering, did it echo when I had display capture on? Turn it back on. Check, check, check. No, I don't see an option for display audio. Just got a stutter. It's fine right now. No video glitches, no audio issues. It was just a few words when it was glitching, says Gary Tatum. Maybe more of a resource issue of the stream lagging than an echo. Did my antivirus finish scanning? Still scanning. Let's take a look at see, that looks okay. But he says it's working fine now. Okay. I'm showing a perfect internet connection to the YouTube ingest server with 0 drop frames, not a single drop frame. So it doesn't look like it's a connection issue. And let's see what check this. Yeah, this all should be correct. So is the audio coming through okay? Like, I haven't changed anything. I was just double checking to make sure I wasn't on the internal camera mic. I'm on this microphone here. It does show much higher audio levels than if the microphone were far away. Then my audio levels would be quieter. John Williams said it seems much better now. Okay. Interesting. John Kennedy said the audio is fine. Right on. Okay. How's my antivirus? Still running. Okay. Is the CPU usage back to normal? So the CPU usage, I showed you, well, I don't know if I showed it to you, but in that performance software or the studio software, that's the software that has the Winring0 on it. The normal CPU usage that I'm looking at is down at the bottom of OBS. It's down in the bottom right corner, very bottom frame of the window, and we're running at 2.2%. 2.2. Chuck Willery. We'll see you in 2 and 2. Love connection? No? Squirrel? It shows 2.2%, 2.9%, 2.4. I mean, we have plenty of CPU power just sitting here. Over 95% of it's not being used. So I don't know what that number said when I was seeing the high CPU usage. I was seeing it on the studio software that I have since removed. And it's been running fine with that studio software for weeks. Since we put this up here, we haven't had a problem. All of a sudden, without any changes, I mean, the only change I made was running these OBS betas, but I do that all the time. Never had an issue. If I find a fix for the Winring0, I'll put the studio software back on there for the Nook, but I don't need it. Much of the fan controls and RGB are in the BIOS anyway. Not to mention, this is just no software. Just let it default to rainbow. I'm good with that. It's probably how I would set it anyway. I don't need it a specific color. Or I don't want to turn the bottom light off or turn the front light off or make this one color and this another color or pick a color or have it breathe. Just have it light up. I don't care what it's. It could strobe. I don't care. Just turn on. Why do I run OBS betas? So I'm not running the real early betas. I'm running the publicly available betas that are feature rich with all of the fixes and enhancements. And I want to see if they benefit me. I also want to report back if it's causing a problem. as my thank you to OBS, which is a free piece of software. I think the least I can do is put it in a real world use case scenario. People who run betas who only synthesize reality, oftentimes the data they collect is very inaccurate. The best way I can collect data, which if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know I'm a big fan of actually use it yourself for a real world purpose that you use your computer for. That is your benchmark. That is your measure of burn-in. That is your measure of reliability and performance, is what you feel when you use it, not when you pretend to use it. This is what it would be like to drive a car. You know, driving a car simulator, like if you're running Forza, it's not anything at all like riding in a car. It isn't. There's no visceral, emotional, gravitational forces and physics pulling on you. There's no real fear of danger or death or your mortality because you crashed the car on the screen. It's very different from crashing a car in reality. Take a high-speed turn, you're not getting nauseous because of the G-forces pushing you against the door. I'm making a right turn, I'm getting pushed this way in a real car. And if I'm not buckled in, I'm holding on to the steering wheel just so I don't fall out of my seat. And that then can cause you to lose control of the car because you're just trying to stay in your seat because you're a moron and didn't put your seatbelt. None of this happens in a simulator, like a real moving simulator that's like $2 million, yes. But on a PC, you have no sense of motion, no feeling. There's no pain. There's no smell. If I served you a virtual meal, do you think that that would fill you up? If I served you a virtual drink, would you no longer be thirsty? There's no flavor, there's no feeling. It's a world of numb, and it's one-dimensional. So when I see an OBS beta that isn't a real early beta, but one that's ready for public testing, you're damn right I'm going to grab it. And I'm going to grab it for two reasons. One, does it add a feature I've been looking for, such as a virtual audio cable would be useful. Right now, there's certain things I have to go and download third-party plugins for. But years ago, I used to need third-party plugins for things that are now no longer necessary because they're built into OBS. And because OBS is freeware, you can't buy it. The people who work on it, it's not their main goal in life is to just, you know, have somebody else pay their bills. They work on it in their spare time, when they have time, and they prioritize the features however they decide. Who's going to tell them? So I still don't have a virtual audio. I have a virtual camera, but I don't have virtual audio. So that means if I were to tell OBS I want it to pretend to be a webcam and use my camera as the source as a webcam, or use my screen as a webcam, I can push a button and now I have a virtual webcam that I can assign to Zoom or anything else. Even if I didn't have a webcam, OBS can virtualize that, but it doesn't carry the audio. And I'm like, who's this for? What's the point of people being able to see me if they can't hear me? So they're like, well, that's you, Carey. And I'm like, but how could it just be me? Why is this still not a feature? It's been years. Why is that? Anyway, there's plugins. So I want to see if they've added features such as that or other features I never thought of before. Like I'd like to hit a hotkey and go full screen. I have to download a third-party plugin to do that. But I'm sure it'll be added to OBS eventually. And because it's free, you can't complain. It's free. Take it or leave it. Who cares? They don't care. So I figured to show my appreciation, if I run into any problems with the beta, well, I'm looking for, you know, new features that I'm hopefully going to see soon, or new features I wasn't even looking for that I'm like, hey, this is fantastic. I want to start using it right away. And then if I run into any problems, my thank you, my return back to them for the gift of OBS, my gift back is to say, I don't know if it's just me, but every time I do this or that, I'm running into a crash or an incompatibility. And they usually say, thanks, we'll look into it. So it's mutually reciprocal. I'm not a big fan of taking things from people without giving something back. And of course, the more somebody is offering and I'm accepting it, the more I want to give back. So I'm not a leech, I'm not a mooch. I'm either paying you for it or I'm returning the favor. It doesn't have to be exactly equal, it's just the thought that counts. It's just how I was raised. I don't expect anybody to feed me, I don't expect anybody to pay my bills. I don't expect, like if I go to a store and they don't have what I want, I'm not mad at them. I don't go, hey, you should have what I want. Shop somewhere else. We're not here for you. But all around me in society, I'm seeing so much entitlement. Whether it's, you should be doing this for me. You shouldn't be filming me in public. You're in public. Where have you been? It's a shared space. If you don't want to share the space, don't, go hide yourself. But when you come out in public and somebody's filming and you don't want, too bad. People say, hey, listen, we're closing Walmart in 15 minutes. You better hurry up and check out because the registers close. You've got 15 minutes to finalize your shopping or come back tomorrow. And then they'll have a customer that, doesn't leave. And you go, hey, you have to go now. Oh, no, I just need to pay for this. You can't pay for it. What do you mean I can't pay for it? I'm a customer. I'm in the store. You can't kick me out once I'm in the store. Yeah, our registers are computerized. The registers turn off 15 minutes after we close because they don't want to run into overtime cost for the employees. So to prevent the employees from running into overtime, the registers are electronically shut down. We couldn't ring you up if we wanted to. So you can just leave your cart, come back tomorrow. You're more than happy to come back. No, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to buy this. And then, okay, I'm going to call the cops. Go ahead, call the cops. Let me speak to a manager. Oh my God. The world, if you want something, go get it. Get off your butt and go get it. If you want somebody to deliver it to you, motivate them with some money or some authority. You got to be somebody with power. You could get that power through being a lawmaker or somebody who has some control, or somebody who's really wealthy, which again buys you power, and you can just tell somebody what to do and you throw money at them and they'll do it. But if you're just expecting people to follow your rules that you can't enforce because that's the way you think life should be, good luck with that attitude. Because what I learned a long time ago is if I don't go and get myself food, I'm not going to eat. It's a pretty simple concept. And it really gets under my skin to see the number of people that think they deserve to be fed just because that's the government's job. I don't know. It's a little political, and I don't want to get into politics, but I just feel like you make your sacrifices for the things you want, and if you don't make the sacrifices, you must not have wanted it. Not my problem. I don't care. And if you think people owe you things, what are you going to do about it if they don't? What power? What can you do? So we end up in these arguments and these fights with people that have unrealistic expectations with no consideration of the world around them. And it's like, we all have the same problems. We all have the same struggles. You're not different than the rest of us in that way. We all have to figure out what we're going to eat. We all have to pay our bills. And so for the people who then go above and beyond to then spend their time developing a free piece of software that I can use to broadcast to you, I'm very grateful for it. And while there are a lot of features I'd like to see OBS have, and I'm hopeful that they'll be introduced sooner rather than later, I'm so grateful to have it just the way it is, even if there was never an improvement on OBS. Because I didn't pay for it. If I don't like it, stop using it, or write a better piece of software myself. If I said OBS isn't good enough and that's the best free piece of broadcast software, as far as I'm concerned, I have two choices. Stop broadcasting, if I'm only going to use free software, or write the damn software myself, which is probably why OBS exists. As somebody said, I'll write the damn software myself. And other people said, well, help. And it's become this amazing community. Mark Chambers with a $10 New Zealand, 10 New Zealand dollars, 10 Kiwi dollars, what do you call it? He says, yes, if I'm running a production piece of software that's free, I feel it's only right to be that part of their feedback and data collection for faults and improvements. That's just how I was raised. Those were the values I was raised with. If somebody is giving you something that you deem to be pretty damn important, hopefully you can offer them something back, even if it's just thank you, I appreciate it. That's the very least you can do. But if you have a skill or if you have an asset that you would like to donate or offer to them to kind of help level the playing field, and again, it doesn't have to be equal. It's just you did something for me regardless of value or time, and I'll do something for you regardless of value of time. It's a mindset. It's not a transaction of fair. It's just, let me rephrase, it's not a transaction of equal, but rather of fairness and consideration and courtesy and thoughtfulness. And I have to tell you, I have people that will call me and they'll apologize about, needing to call me. It's my job. When you're having a computer problem, don't apologize. You're not bothering. This is what I do for a living. If you never had any computer problems, I probably wouldn't be in the computer repair field. It's what I do. And it's odd to me that people feel it's polite, it's thoughtful, but it's completely like, I find it strange because I'm not necessarily doing them any favors. I'm working. They're going to pay me for my work. That's our transaction. And even if it's a friend and a friend has some minor little thing and they're like, oh, thank you for fixing this. Oh, I don't mind. It was nothing. Super easy. It wasn't like I sacrificed anything. It wasn't like I didn't enjoy it. Even if I was frustrated trying to figure it out, I learned something, and then somebody else has that problem, I'll be able to fix it faster. So they win in that situation because they got their problem fixed. I win because now if I ever see that problem again, I know instantly how to fix it. And that makes me worth more to the people that pay me. Now, if somebody says, hey, come help me move and help me move 2,000 pounds of equipment from one building to another and carry it up a load of stairs, that's different. That'd be one hell of a favor. They say a friend is somebody that'll help you move, and a good friend is someone that'll help you move a body. So Barry mentioned a little while ago, it started glitching again. Again, on my side, it's perfect. So I don't know if that was just you, because I don't see anybody else. Is the virus scan complete? Oh, let's check. I forgot I was running it. It seems locked up. It says estimated time remaining is 38 seconds. And it says 105,711 files scanned. So what I'm wondering is if the antivirus is trying to scan a file we're using right now. So I'm going to cancel it because it seems hung up. It shouldn't take this long. And I'll run it after I shut down OBS. I'm wondering if it's trying to scan some of the OBS files. And that could be creating some jitter if they're fighting over the same file and use at the same time. Or I'm being impatient, it's trying to scan a compressed file that it has to decompress in its memory, scan it, and then let that memory go, move to the next one. I'm not sure. But I did scan just prior to coming on, and it scanned right away. Went through it about under 3 minutes, did the full scan in under 3 minutes. It's a clean install. And I just really wanted to run it again to show you guys how you can scan it. And I don't really need to, I already know what the results are. But I will just double check it once again after the broadcast when OBS is shut down. So if it's getting stuck on files in use, then it'll sail right through, and that'll make sense. Craig Casamona with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Craig. Now, the thing I had mentioned in the earlier video today was that Harbor Freight Tools has come out with a iFixIt toolkit clone for half the price. So if you guys, because we took that video down from earlier today because it was all screwed up. It was unwatchable. I mean, you could say that about all my videos. This one technically had issues. So if we go over to Harbor Freight Tools, we'll just repeat what I showed earlier for those who missed it. See if we can grab a window capture. There it is. Okay, so Harbor Freight Tools, and we'll say we're looking for iFixIt. And check this out. Quinn Electronics Repair Kit, 87-piece, $39.99, 148 ratings, 5-star average. And it says, first of all, look at it. Doesn't that look familiar? Doesn't that look an awful lot like a $75 iFixIt toolkit? I mean, everything. Doesn't it look nearly identical? Even the bag the tools come in is the same. How subtle are these folks when they say compared to an iFixIt, and they actually name the iFixIt toolkit? Check this out. Let's Control-C that. And let's open a new browser window and see which, yeah, $75 for the iFixIt, right? And pair it. Do they have another photo? These are all your bits. I don't know how they're getting away with this, but it's effectively identical, except iFixIt wants $74.95 and Harbor Freight $39.99. And it says it's in stock at the Glendale, Arizona store. I could just go to the store and get it. This is, it's a clone. It's what it looks like. And I don't know how they're able to get away with that. And they're bold enough to even admit it. Even the toolkit, the package, looks the same. How crazy is this? Magnetic tip. It's got the swivel handle, and it's got the material kit. It's identical in every single way, except maybe the color's a little different, and the name on the front, it's a different font. It's called Quinn. I'm shocked in a happy way. I think good, because iFixIt, they're expensive, and as much as I use their toolkits, I don't endorse them simply because they don't think I'm big enough to work with me. I said, you know, let's work together. You can offer my viewers a discount. They said, basically, that was not word for word, but they said, you know, when you get 1 million subscribers, come back. It's more or less. I'm putting that in my own words. It's not exactly what they said. That's what I read. So I'm like, all right, well, I like your tools, but I don't like you. And I think they probably would have said, yeah, we feel the same way. So how do you think I feel when I see Harbor Freight's just basically rip them off at half price? Nice. And will they get sued over it? We'll find out. But in the meantime, Doesn't affect you as a consumer. You can go out and buy it, take advantage of it. Bajan Guy said everything's working fine on his end. All right, we got good audio, good video. It's been solid for a while. So then what fixed it? If you ask me what did I do to fix it, I don't know. I have no idea. I know that changing the capture card didn't work. None of the cables or cameras are causing it. Was it related to the antivirus all of a sudden fighting to get that Winring0 while the software was running for the studio software? Maybe. Was it the beta version of OBS? I mean, maybe, but it was working fine most of Monday. It was some point in the show Monday, I think, when we first... Wasn't it later in the show? Like the last half hour it started happening. I don't know. I have no idea what I fixed. As long as it's fixed, that's all I care about. Unless it happens again, then I want to know why. I saw a video from our friend, Ask Your Computer Guy, Scott Merrill. And he went through some Reddit posts of, asking for PC help, PC repair help, and not that any of the questions he was answering were necessarily were the people asking the questions aware he was answering them. He didn't respond in Reddit. He made a video and didn't necessarily tell those people on Reddit, hey, I answered your question on my video. So as an exercise of saying, all right, let's just look through some PC repair requests and say, what would Scott do based on the photos or descriptions of symptoms provided by the Reddit poster, which sometimes are vague, sometimes they're open to interpretation. Based on that, he said, I could do this, or here's where I would start based on how he interpreted it. And I thought, oh, it could be fun to go back and play Scott's video and see if I would look at it from another way, or if I would say, oh no, I'd do the same thing. So that's something we could do. If Scott wouldn't mind, we could do a reaction video to Scott's video, but I'll reach out to Scott and I'll ask him. But if you have any questions for me, this will be a good time to ask as we continue just to do a thorough test here to make sure we're up and running. We've only been up now, just about 10 minutes shy of an hour. And, my broadcasts are usually about 2 hours. Lately, they've been going at 3, but I feel like if we can get 90 minutes or 2 hours without any problems or with very minimal issues, then it's fixed. So we'll fill up the time with what's ever on your mind. John Williams says that toolkit is awesome. It looks that way. It looks like it's built really well. I think I stumbled on this morning when a YouTube video was offered to me. Let's go check it out together. Let's try. Over here. And we'll go to, okay, we're in YouTube, so we'll search iFixIt Harbor Freight. Maybe that'll, Harbor Freight. Yeah, Last Best Tool is the name of the channel. And
how much could you save by switching your car insurance to Allstate? Well, let's say this is you.
I'm not signed in on this account.
Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and iFixIt's kind of the industry standard for small electronics toolkits, especially the basic stuff, primarily bit sets.
And you see
now this is the iFixIt
kit. Just fast forward here. So he's opening up the iFixIt and laying them side by side.
So let's take a look at these things. First of all, they both contain
if anything,
a 64-bit set. 64 bits, kind of a nice pun there.
Like
but they have
extension.
an awfully similar complement of tools, the same tools. In fact, if you look close at some of the designs,
of this particular kit,
you know, like these tweezers here.
Similar. So look, I'm not going to give away this guy's video because he obviously is monetized it. But if you want to watch it, heck, he's only got 84,000 subscribers. If you like this kind of content, you know, give him a thumbs up and subscribe to him. Show him a little love. Because I wouldn't have known if I didn't get this video offered to me. And he published this video just 2 days ago. Oh, he's doing pretty good though. 41,000 views. Oh, wow. That's well deserved. Okay. So if you want to learn more about it.
Can you mute the audio on that video? Nobody can hear you.
Oh, he was playing audio that whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, hold on a minute. Let me go back. Yeah, let me go back. Mute it here. So basically, just to repeat myself, their tools look identical. And again, I don't want to give away this guy's video since he's monetized it, but if you like this kind of content, be sure and subscribe to him, give him a thumbs up. I was just saying he just posted this 2 days ago. He's already got 41,000 views, but he's only got 84,000 subscribers. So anyway, if you want to learn more about it, get into the nitty-gritty, because I don't have one. I don't really need one, but if I needed one, I think I would buy the Harbor Freight Tools. One, because it's right down the street, and two, it's half the price, almost half the price. Frankie wants to know, when are you and Scott going to do the Synology NAS setup together? That's a great question. Well, last I talked to Scott, the plan was for him to do a file copy of everything on his NAS over his network onto a hard drive plugged into a USB dock. So if he's got 4 8-terabyte drives, he said he only found 3 of them, and he's not sure if he has a 4th one. And I said the plan would be that if he finds the 4th drive, and it's an 8-terabyte drive just like the other 3, use that drive temporarily to hold all of your current content, because it doesn't add up to 8 terabytes. He said he didn't have that much on it. Then we'll take the remaining 3 8-terabyte drives, plug them into his Synology, and set it up with the Synology Hybrid RAID. Then he can copy everything back off over the network from the USB dock on his PC over to his newly created RAID array. Once that copy is complete, he can take the 8-terabyte drive out of the USB dock, plug it into the Synology while the Synology is left on, log into Synology and say expand my array by including this new 8-terabyte drive I just put into the last slot, and it will do that while he's using the Synology without interruption. It'll expand the array to 4 drives and add that additional free space to available space. That's one of the things I love about Synology. And they're not the only ones to do that. QNAP will do that, and TerraMaster, ASUS Store will do it too, if you use the right format. So with Synology, it's called SHR, or Synology Hybrid RAID. And it lets you use drives of different sizes, or if you only want to use 2 of your 4 bays, you can, and just leave the other 2 bays empty. If you run out of space, let's say a year from now, Scott says, yeah, I'm running out of space, what do I do? It's too much to back up to a USB drive. I'd say, well, What are you upgrading to? 16 terabytes? That'll double your space. Okay, let's say 16. Go ahead and while the unit's on, pop one of your 8 terabytes out. And the Synology will provide an error saying there's a communication problem with the drive, because the Synology, that looks like a drive failure. Put the 16 terabyte drive in the tray, put it in, log back into the Synology and say, rebuild my array with the 16 terabyte drive and expand to the extra space. And it'll take about a day, thereabouts. And then do that again on the 8 terabyte drive. Of the 3 that are remaining, do that to the third one, then do it to the second one, and day by day, and then do it to the last one, so that by then all 4 drives are now 16 terabytes, and your amount of free space will have, well, your amount of total capacity will have doubled from the 8 terabytes, and that way you didn't have to rebuild anything. It just does it itself. But if you rebuild it yourself, you can do it in a day. If you let Synology do it, you'll do 1 drive at a time. And it averages about 1 drive a day. You might be able to do it faster. The actual expansion doesn't take very long. It's just that it does a data integrity check or a drive scrub, and that's the thing that takes a while. And the bigger the drives are and the more data you have, the longer that's going to take. But it's really convenient. So Scott is supposed to reach out to me when he has done his part, which means he's backed up his data, which means he found an 8 terabyte drive. If he has not found one, he'll buy one. I am assuming this hasn't happened, but I haven't followed up with Scott to ask. And he hasn't followed up with me to say I'm good to go. So I'm giving him some space. It's in his benefit. I don't know why he would drag his feet on it unless he has some other more pressing things to do. So when he's ready, I'm ready. And I'm very much looking forward to it. But that's, you know what I know at this point. Barry Klein says, now that we're into the fall, I'm wondering if you're going to use your pumpkin spice scented thermal paste in your builds. Why not just use the guts of a pumpkin? That seems like it would do pretty good for about a week. And probably smell like roasting pumpkin seeds. Bajan Guy said, how is Mitch doing? I was just talking to Mitch a couple of hours ago. He's doing well. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Mara's got a new recipe that's now my favorite, and it's incredibly simple. Isn't it crazy how some of the most frustrating computer repairs end up to be real simple things, and sometimes the most delicious things, at least for me, are some of the most simple things. You know, don't try and overthink it. So we were at the market, and they have, you know, all the bins filled with pecans and almonds and peanuts and walnuts and, I don't know, acorns. And they sell these different bins with, you know, these are honey roasted almonds and these are unsalted cashews. Anyway, so they had raw almonds. They're like $6 a pound, which is really cheap. I mean, when you consider how much almonds.
It was less than that.
I think they were $6 a pound.
They were more like
$5.99. So anyway, so I get a little bag and I'm like, get a couple pounds. I like almonds, but they're raw. I don't want to eat raw unsalted almonds. So we had this idea, which again through some.
This is we business.
We, you and I together.
I'm just kidding.
I do the thinking. You just look pretty. Beauty and brawn. Anyway. I said, let's go to this. Like, this was a plan. Like, we didn't just do it impulsively. I think we saw a video or somebody was showing something. It's like, you know, That's right. It was an Italian woman that was showing that she was Rosario cooking. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't talk in the video. She just puts like really bizarre captions.
What country are you from?
Yeah.
Tell me in the comments.
It's really hot here in Italy. How is your weather? Please let me know in the comments. Like, is she a person, or is she, what was the name of the bot on the Jetsons? Rosie, the robot on the Jetsons?
Yeah, Rosie.
She sounded like Rosie. Anyway, the videos are well done, and Mara being all Italian. And it's something that's healthier, right? Except she was making it, I think, with sugar. So.
Oh, she most definitely was.
So we said, well, you know, we could. We have a lot of spices. We have a jalapeno rub, a garlic rub. We have salt and pepper, obviously. We have Lawry seasoned salt. And if we can get that to stick to the almonds, and we put the almonds in the air fryer, and you got to stir them around every 3 minutes in the air fryer because they'll burn real easy. And Mara's like, I could spray avocado oil on them. Whatever. She's also said, you know, we've got some flavored, my brother had sent us some flavored olive oil, like garlic infused, etc. I don't know. Olive oil might not be right, but avocado oil doesn't really have any flavor. Long story short, she made a couple of different batches, like we'll try it with the jalapeno seasoning. We'll try it with the sugar-free honey that she has. And then the last batch she made with, garlic
jalapeno and avocado oil seasoned with liquid smoke.
Oh, you added liquid smoke to it. Yeah. And
those are amazeballs.
Now, when they come out of the air fryer, they're hot, obviously, but they're not crunchy. They're almost chewy. Best to let them cool down. It doesn't take very long, just a couple minutes. And then, while they're still warm, they'll crunch. And they don't have that raw texture anymore. Now they're this fresh, roasted, healthy, can't stop eating just one.
And the oil dries very quickly and very easily.
Yeah, and yeah, you might get a little bit of the seasoning stuff on your fingers.
Maybe.
Everything good leaves stuff on your fingers. So anyway, a little tip from...
All my recipes are available. If you would like them, reach out. I'm happy to share. They are posted if anybody's interested.
Yeah, and you know, to keep the air fryer from getting too messy, you just get a little foil tray, disposable foil tray that you're going to throw away that fits in your air fryer. Put your almonds in that, spray them down, put your seasoning on, set your air fryer to... You remember what you set the temperature to?
The tank, 375,
Ooh.
and the roasted ones were at...
So around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You probably could go a little bit cooler than that, maybe 300 degrees Fahrenheit, cook them a little slower. But you do have to stir them every 3 minutes because they will burn very quickly. And if they're brown...
That is non-negotiable. You must stir them every 3 minutes.
Yeah, and if you're using something sticky like honey, you want to stir them anyway, or you're just going to have one large almond. And that includes when you take it out and you like put some parchment paper down or something they're not going to stick to. Dump them out of the tray, spread them out if they're sticky so they don't stick to each other. And they are addictive and a fraction of the cost of the manufactured almonds like Blue Diamond. They make some good almonds, but they're 2 to 3 times the price. Like if you got a pound of Blue Diamond almonds compared to just buying a pound of raw almonds that you're going to roast yourself, and it doesn't really leave any mess. You throw the tray away, throw the parchment paper away, put the almonds in a Ziploc bag, and you can have them as a snack, and you'll probably eat them all before they would ever go bad. James Wan says, do you still drink Coca-Cola? I do, yeah. Sometimes I'll go a day or two without having a Coca-Cola, but if we go somewhere to eat, doesn't matter if it's a sit-down restaurant or fast food, I will always have a Coca-Cola with a meal. But if I'm not eating, I just don't desire it anymore, except with food. Anyway, the reason I told you about the almonds is, geez, if I was aware that I could do that in my air fryer, I've had an air fryer for like 6 years. I've only just realized you can do that with an air fryer. So just in case you didn't know, and it doesn't have to be almonds, you can do peanuts. You can do walnuts. I don't know many people that roast walnuts. Pecans, cashews, and you can season it to your liking. Just make sure you get them raw. And oddly enough, they're usually less expensive. You buy them in bulk, usually places that, grocery stores or markets, many of which, at least in Phoenix, they have bulk bins. And the bulk bins will either have a scoop or they're stacked in a thing that you push a lever and they pour out from gravity. Being bulk foods implies it's going to be cheaper that way too. And you'll be hard pressed, no matter how much you spend, to have a fresher, better tasting nut than what you can make at home for a fraction of the price. And it's up to you to dial it into your flavor preferences. So don't cook them all at once. Experiment a little bit, find out what you like, what's too much, what's too little. Make a note of it, and you can make them that way indefinitely until you're sick of them and you don't want to see them ever again. I've had too many nuts, don't want to see anymore. And then you reach the opposite extreme. And then about a few months go by and you go, oh, you know what, sounds good. It's been a while since I had those nuts. And super easy to find nuts at a nearby market. Air fryer, no cleanup. And it's up to your imagination how you want to season them. So experiment. Maybe you'll find a nice flavor combination that you might want to share with us to try. We tend to like things that are a bit smoky or spicy, or smoky and spicy, but not so spicy that, it's a challenge. But spicy enough where you go, hey, that's pretty interesting. I think I'd like another. Not, I can't feel my lips, not that spicy. Mark wants to know, what was the fix for the streamer? Yeah, I'm not sure, Mark. I really don't know. Rather than try and fix the streamer. So this is a dilemma that a professional technician will find themselves in quite frequently is, do I want to spend time to fix it, or do I want to wipe it and just reinstall everything? And it will vary depending on the customer, what their urgency is, how much money they're willing to pay, and whether or not you as the tech think that's something you can fix, with keyboard to mouse, or if it's something you can fix for sure within a certain, like I can predict how long it takes to reinstall Windows and updates and drivers. That's pretty easily predictable. It's nearly the same for every computer, with few exceptions. But if your customer's got a bunch of customized software and they don't know where it is and things have to be reactivated, well, then it might actually be quicker to find the problem and resolve it that way. So a professional technician has to make up their mind what they want to do. So I always start with checking easy things first. So the easiest thing I could do was take this apart, take the back, the top, and the sides off, get that capture card out, swap it with a spare capture card. That's why I have spares. Simple thing. Did it make any difference? No. Okay, the next thing is try different cameras with different cables. Did that make a difference? No. Okay, that whole thing right there took about 10 minutes. So do I want to continue to dig and figure out what's going on here, or should I just wipe it and start over? And I thought, well, the only thing I have on there is OBS and my login to YouTube and my drivers. There's really nothing else on here. And RoboForm, which is how I used to log in to YouTube. And then my video assets, which are the intros and the outros that play. It's nothing. So just copy those things off. I didn't want to download the drivers off of this. I want to get fresh, clean drivers. I know where the support page is. It's over at ASUS for the Nook Extreme 11. Just go to Google, Nook Extreme 11 driver download. Takes you to ASUS, since they licensed the Nook technology from Intel. They're responsible. Downloaded all the drivers. Well, I didn't actually download the drivers. What I did is I put my Windows 11 USB disk in there. I went into the BIOS. I said reset all the BIOS defaults, which I shouldn't have had to do. They probably were already at defaults. Boot from the Windows 11 media. Wipe out all the partitions. Reinstall Windows 11. It says, what version of Windows 11 do you want? Since I'm not putting a product key in, I say I want Windows 11 Pro because I know that's what I had before that was activated. And I unplugged the network cable. And I let Windows 11 install. I put username of user, blank password, all the same thing. Then I plug the network in. Then I go to Windows Update. And then I left and ran some errands. And when I came back, the computer had already restarted. I checked Windows Update again. And the only thing in the device manager that didn't automatically get a driver was the capture card. And I just went to Elgato. I downloaded that software for the capture card. You have to install the software in order to get the drivers. You cannot just download the drivers on the Elgato capture card. Same is true, I think, with Blackmagic, if I'm not mistaken. It's not that uncommon with some devices where the drivers are built into the software. So even though I'm not using the Elgato software, I have to install it. Then I reinstalled OBS and looking for the beta, couldn't find it anymore because they released the final version today while I was doing all this, and that led to some confusion. Then I restored my OBS backup so I get all my settings back. Then I went to the ASUS website and I downloaded all the drivers, and then I realized I don't need any of these except the Studio software is what it's called. As soon as I installed that Studio software, boom, the antivirus picked up with that Winring0 virus alert. And that's when I knew that's what it is. Once I had that piece of information, I went to Google and I said Winring0 Nook 11 Extreme virus. And boom, the results were some recent Reddit discussions in the last 2 weeks. And not just limited to the Nook, but people did specifically mention the Nook 11 Extreme, since that's what my search initially was looking for. That was one of the, well, let's just do it. Heck with it. Let's just go to, we'll go back to Microsoft Edge here. This one? Yeah. And since I knew Winring0 on the Nook 11 Extreme was creating a virus, those are my keywords. And now I'm looking at the date. So this is March. I'm looking for something recent. Here's a Microsoft link where they're discussing it at Microsoft. And this is September 4th of 2025. That's pretty much us right there. This happened sometime like within the first week of this month when we first started seeing it. I would have to go back and play my live videos because I saw it live on video, whatever day that was. And it's with the Intel Nook Software Studio, which may be on multiple Nooks for all I know. They didn't necessarily make the software for a specific model of Nook, but a family of Nooks. And people said, yeah, well, it's not just the Nook. Guess what? It's also other software. And as you scroll through here, it mentions the particular file here called hardware monitor library.sys. And it's that file that's calling this Winring0, whatever that is. It's coming from this. And this is what has to be removed, apparently. So this conversation goes on and on and on, and then you go back and you go, well, who else is talking to us? Is there anybody else? Now, this one is September 17th, so this just happened last week, a week ago today. And it looks like PC World covered. And this is the first I'm seeing this, by the way. Of course, we got to deal with all the ads. Oh, and the senior editor wrote this. I'll have to put a link to this on my Twitter page. So tools like CapFrame X, EVGA Precision X1, older versions, fan CTRL control, HW Info, Libre Hardware Monitor, MSI Afterburner, Open Hardware Monitor, OpenRGB, Omen Mon, Panorama 9, Razer Synapse, SteelSeries Engine, Zen Timings, and there's more. Microsoft said they're the tools and utility used by gamers and enthusiasts alike, and they're all subject to the same vulnerability. A representative for Razer said Microsoft's citation is a mistake. Users who are using Razer Synapse 4 or the latest Synapse 3 software are unaffected by this issue. We've rolled out a security patch back in February to remove these drivers. Synapse 4 does not use these drivers, and we encourage anyone facing this issue to check that they're using the latest version of Synapse 3 or Synapse 4. But what happens when they don't release? Oh wait, what's this? Another one? When did this? Am I late to this game? Hold on. When did he publish this? What's the publishing
One piece of obscure.
5 months ago. This wasn't an issue for me 5 months ago. So while the issue existed, the vulnerability existed, Microsoft was not flagging it back then. That's the problem. So if we look now, if we go to ASUS Nook 11 Extreme, what am I typing? Drivers. That should take us to the ASUS webpage for support. Now this looks like, is this Australia? That's fine. Nook 11 Extreme Kit. Support links for Nook kits. Maybe it's a Nook kit. I don't think it was a kit. Maybe it was. Let's go back to that first link. Drivers and tools. We'll stay here for now. And what we're talking about is this piece of software right here. Oh, it's not here. Wait a minute. This is 12th software initiative patch for a modern standby LAN issue. That is not the problem. Where did it go? Not here. Nook 11 Extreme. Download tools. I thought it was right here, right at software utility. Oh, this is it. Intel Nook Software Studio Service for Intel Nook products. It's dated from 2 years ago. It's almost exactly 2 years ago. This software has not been updated. Hence my dilemma. So hopefully that brings it all within focus now, and you can understand better what happened, why it happened, and the fact that we're just going to go without the Software Studio program. I don't need it anyway. I don't care if I can control the RGB or change the performance mode of the Nook. It's, I guess, something to do, but it doesn't really behoove me to run it any other way than just stock. For the purposes of live video, I don't need extra performance. As long as it's quiet. Yeah, if it's running where the fans are too loud, that'll be a different story. But I would still just go into the BIOS and change them in there. So hopefully that answers your question. We're at what, an hour and 20 minutes? So maybe another 10 minutes. If you have more questions for me, please do ask them. Or I can just sit here awkwardly for the next 10 minutes looking for a glitch. Anybody have a mirror? I found one. I'll just sit here and amuse myself. And Mara looks like she's talking to Jason H88 about her recipes. Oh, using the Unbeliever flour. Yeah. That's like her new flour replacement that's giving her very similar flour behavior, but healthier than flour. Jason H88 said, my favorite is roasted pecans with a mixture of melted butter and Worcester sauce. I mean, I'm not a big fan of pecans myself. Mara loves them. But I do like butter, and I like to say Worcestershire sauce. Worcester. Fun word. Oh, Jason's asking about the cookbook that Mara made that is diabetic friendly, sugar-free, low carb. Yeah, you definitely don't want to buy the Kindle version of the book. It's all, format's all wonky. We were initially, when Mara was selling the book, she wanted it to be a certain size and a certain paper quality. And Amazon said it's going to raise the price of your book. And she's, well, it's worth it because it's no good if you can't read the recipes and you can't see the pictures in color. So they said, well, it's going to be $17.50. And Mara's like, that's fine. If that's the cheapest we can sell it, that's fine. And we bought a few copies, and we encouraged people to buy a few copies that were interested. And all of a sudden, the book went to $25.50. Didn't just jump $1 or $2. I said, Mara, what did you do? What do you mean, what did I do? I didn't do anything. What makes you think I did anything? I don't know. Did you decide you wanted to make more money on the book? What are you talking about? Well, it says it's $25.50. It was $17.50 yesterday. She goes, I know. I don't know what the hell's going on. I didn't do that. So I guess what Amazon did is Amazon decided that the cost of making the book was higher than they expected. Prices had gone up, or we're not selling enough copies to justify the lower price. And it's been at $25.50 ever since. The Kindle copy is damn near free. It's like $3, but it's unreadable. It's terrible. Nothing's lining up correctly. And I don't know if she gave up on it or what the status of that is. But it has to be completely reformatted. And Amazon, they don't just let you put anything on Kindle. They do this auto formatting thing so you don't have to. And this is what they did to it. There doesn't seem to be anybody to talk to ask for help. So you might be in a limbo on that, but I strongly recommend you do not buy the Kindle version. If we get an update to that, we'll let you know. But the book is fantastic. And I encourage you to, if you get the book, leave an honest review. I think you'll find the recipes are quite flavorful, in that just because something is healthier doesn't mean it's going to be bad or have a weird texture. There's ingredients Mara is using today that weren't available a couple of years ago. Some of these ingredients, like allulose as a sugar replacement, aren't available in Canada or Europe because they don't think it's safe for human consumption, even though there's no evidence it's not. And here in the United States, it's her go-to, and it's available pretty much everywhere. And she's still alive, I'm just saying. Not like a Weekend at Bernie's situation happening here. Mark Gaines said he just finished installing his replacement Corsair Titan all-in-one. Right on. Well, let's hope this one stays working this time. Are you sending the old one back, or do they just want you to... Like some items, they'll have you like cut the hoses and take a picture of the hoses cut, and you send it back to them, and they'll say, okay. Other places, they want it back, and some other places don't care either way. I'm just kind of curious which way it went for you. Mark said he had to send the old all-in-one back, and when they received it, then they sent him the replacement. Oh, that's interesting. Jason H88 said, I'll give you an update on the cookbook and what she thinks in the future. Oh, this is for a friend of yours? Yeah, let us know what your friend thinks, for sure. I know Mara would appreciate it. Brian says, what is OBS software? So OBS is the software I use to broadcast. It connects my cameras to a capture card. If you think about it like, let's say you have a webcam. If you just buy a webcam and you plug it into your computer, what do you do next? You likely need some kind of a driver so that the webcam can work within Windows. You say, okay, so now I got a webcam working in Windows. How do I use it? Well, you can record videos just like a camera that you can edit and post later. How do I do that? You'll use some software like OBS. And with OBS, you can make adjustments to the video quality, the audio quality. There's filters and color corrections and all this other things. And it's free. It's open broadcast software. And then there's a paid version, or a version more that gamers, younger people use, in my opinion, called Streamlabs Open Broadcast System, SLOBS, SLOBS. I don't use SLOBS. I think it's too teenager for me personally, but it's built off OBS. So it's the same foundation. OBS in and of itself is free. It's always been free. You cannot buy it. If anybody's selling it, they're scammers. Streamlabs OBS, a little different. So in any event, the OBS software, if it were being sold, it'd probably be right around $100 price tag, because the alternative, at least for me, starting to do live streaming, was a program called about $100. I can't think of what it's called. And I've got a lifetime license for it, but it's far too complex for me compared to OBS. And these days, years later, you don't even need OBS necessarily. You can go to StreamYard.com, and the software is online. And StreamYard has a free service that puts a watermark on your video in 720p. And StreamYard can also broadcast at 1080, save a recording to their cloud drive, and be able to multicast to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all at the same time, using their bandwidth, not yours. So you're like, I don't have a bandwidth to broadcast to 8 different places. No, you just broadcast to them, and then they rebroadcast, simulcast it at the same time to all these other places. And then you can invite guests on and have them join you for an interview. And the more you pay, the more features you get, like the more guests and etc. So OBS is just that free version. Sam Lazar said XSplit. Thank you, Sam. That is exactly what I was thinking. It was X something, X. I was thinking it was X Connection, X. Yeah, XSplit. So I have a lifetime license to XSplit, and I've used it once. It's in my back pocket, you know, if I ever need to fall back on something. But and StreamYard offers me so many more benefits than OBS does. But StreamYard costs me $460 a year if I want to be professional. If I want to just be a guy in his garage, it's free if I don't mind the watermark, the lower resolution, and no simulcasting. But when you see me interview Doug Betts or Scott Merrill, they're joining me through StreamYard. So I don't have to use these plugins. And well, I used to use Skype and a plugin for Skype and a virtual audio cable. It got really hairy to prevent feedback loops for video and audio when I'm trying to hear them, but I also need them to hear me, and I need you guys to hear us together but not on top of each other, or that you're hearing me hearing him, which results in an echo, or you're seeing me see him, which results in a video loop, feedback loop. Anyway, StreamYard takes all the guesswork out of it. And it costs money. In many ways, StreamYard's better than OBS, because when I do these live videos, I'm just going to YouTube. Now, there are plugins for OBS made by third parties, open source, that allow you to simulcast, but it's using my bandwidth. And if I don't have the bandwidth to do it, too bad, so sad. There's no support on it either. StreamYard, it's so easy, you just click a button. But what I do is I still use OBS when I use StreamYard. And what I do is I tell OBS to be a virtual camera. So OBS pretends it's a web camera. And then whatever video feed I put in, like camera 1, or if I go to camera 2, right? Then I don't have to make those changes in StreamYard. I make them in OBS like I always do. And it's changing the virtual camera. If I want picture-in-picture, and StreamYard doesn't support it, OBS does. And it emulates the output as a webcam putting that video out. StreamYard doesn't know the difference. It knows that's your video source. So basically OBS, I can control multiple video sources in OBS and even overlay multiple video sources on top of each other and output that instead of to YouTube, output it as a virtual web camera feed and then tell StreamYard that's my web camera. It's pretty damn cool if you ask me. But you can also do everything in StreamYard if I wanted to sit down and learn it. It's got a lot of cool features, and it does more this year than it did last year. But again, the free version of it I find lacking for professional use. But for fun, have at it. It's too limited for me for free. And so I got the cheapest tier, which was $460. And then there's a tier above that that's even more money. And I was like, nah, I mean, it's got some features I like, but I don't like it that much. So, OBS. That's what makes these videos possible for free. I mean, I still have to provide the camera. That's $3,000. The 2 microphones are $600 a piece. These mics are $600. Yeah, $600 a piece. The computer's about $1,500. The capture card is probably around $300 for this capture card. There's still a lot of money involved. I need to have 30 megs up at a very minimum to do 4K. You need 8 megs up to do 1080. If I'm broadcasting to StreamYard, I only need 8 megs up to StreamYard because StreamYard's only going to go 1080. And then StreamYard uses their upload bandwidth, which is way more than yours or mine, to rebroadcast or simulcast, rather, the live feed to whatever outlets we want. And then if somebody's connecting to interview, they're not connecting to me eating my bandwidth, they're connecting to StreamYard eating their bandwidth instead. And that just leaves a very smooth, very professional broadcast. So long as I push the right buttons. That's the worst thing that happens. Sam Lazar wants to know if paid antivirus software is worth it. Well, somebody thinks so. I mean, they're selling it. You know, there's so many different reasons and values and measures of how we determine worth, that one person's trash is another person's treasure. For me personally, my recommendation and what I do myself, and I don't recommend anything I don't do myself, is to use Windows Security, which is free, it comes with Windows, for viruses, and use a paid version of Malwarebytes for both browser protection and malware pop-up protection. But you won't get that with the free version of Malwarebytes. The free version of Malwarebytes only helps you to clean up an infection. The paid version helps you to prevent an infection, so there's nothing to clean up. Nothing is 100% certain. No protection is 100%. So you still have to make wise decisions and be responsible with your keyboard and your mouse with what you're clicking on, because it can still get through a 0-day exploit, something that just came out and you're one of the first people to get it. There's a good chance it slips right by any antivirus, paid or otherwise. So we have, you think about viruses and how we throw this word around, but what is a virus? It's like, what do you want for dinner? Food. Okay. What are you protecting your computer from? Viruses. That's the same thing. Like, what do you mean, viruses? Oh boy, take a seat. We'll be here a while. I mean rootkits. I mean Trojans. I mean ransomware. I mean worms. I mean self-replicating harmful software intended to cause some sort of damage or theft. I mean potentially unwanted programs, advertisements, and pop-ups that come in often through downloading freeware is how they get paid to pay for the freeware that you're getting for free. And now they're throwing advertisements at you, or they're putting spyware on your machine and selling the data behind the scenes without you knowing. That isn't harmful. It's potentially unwanted programs, PUP or PUPs. Malwarebytes sees all of this, but Windows security only really sees viruses. So there's malware, which is short for malicious software, which a virus, I mean, technically it's malicious software. But a virus has a very specific definition. In fact, let me read to you what the definition. What is the definition of a computer virus? A computer virus is a type of malicious software or malware that attaches itself to a legitimate program or file, replicates itself, and spreads to other computers. It must do all of these things. It can't just do one of these things. If it does all of those things, it's a virus. It's similar to a biological virus. It needs a host to spread the virus. It requires user interaction, such as opening an attached file, to become active and deliver its harmful payload, which can include corrupting data, disrupting system functions, or stealing sensitive information. And then you could say, well, is it then types of viruses? Well, yeah. Self-executing programs affecting the speed of your computer, pop-up windows, accounts being logged out, account credentials being stolen so they can log in as you, mass emails being sent on your behalf. They get access to your email account and they start sending email to everybody on your contacts list, claiming they're you and that you're writing this and you don't even know what's happening. Changes to your home page. It goes on and on and on. What do you want to eat? Food. I need you to be more specific. What kind of food? Edible food. Thank you. Yeah, that cleared it all up for me. Edible food. So if you have a paid antivirus that you like and you don't have any complaints about it, keep using it. Nothing wrong with using it. Some people don't want to pay money they don't have to pay. Some people are more than happy to pay the money. It just depends on you. If you like what you've got and you're happy with what you pay, why fix it if it ain't broke? We have all of these variations and variety of antivirus to suit the needs of the individual, the budget, the resources. You know, how we protect 1,000 computers in a high-rise building is different from how you protect your computer in your house. You know, the management of the scale of operation is critical to the per seat cost versus you and your one computer. And then, of course, we have applications that cannot interfere with productivity of our employees or being able to help our customers. They can't interfere with our customers either, such as on our website that customers visit to make purchases. That website needs to be secure at all times, and it has to protect customer data. And as you can imagine, the level of consequence to that is more severe should we try and cut corners and use freeware. But for a home user, I mean, it doesn't really make much difference other than, like, do you want pizza tonight, or do you want steak, or do you want pasta? It doesn't matter, just have a meal. But if you're feeding a room of 1,000 people, you probably are going to spend more money and your cost per plate will probably be cheaper. But the idea is that you're meeting whatever the needs are of that community. If your community is vegan, or if your community has the dietary restrictions, they need to be gluten-free, nut-free, keto, whatever it is, right? If that's the entire community that you're feeding, then it's pretty easy to know what you're serving. In much way that all the computers in an enterprise business running in say one of the high-rise buildings in a downtown urban area, everybody's going to be within that company, within those boundaries. So it's not just a free-for-all where everybody gets what they want. That only exists pretty much for the home user. And really, it's up to you to decide what's good and what's bad and what's expensive and what's worth it and what's not. Nobody can answer that for you. Everybody's got opinions, though. Mark Gain said, like myself, he uses the paid version of Malwarebytes. I want to tell you a secret about Malwarebytes. If we go to the website, I'm going to show you how I buy it, because I don't have any relationship with Malwarebytes. It's something I use and I recommend it to my customers. I recommend it to you guys. I don't make a dime and I don't sell it from Malwarebytes. So what do? Check this out. We're going to open up a browser here, and we're going to go to Newegg. This is one of the last things, one of the only things I buy from Newegg. For better or for worse, they just don't do it for me anymore, not compared to Amazon. And besides, you guys are sending me Amazon gift cards, not Newegg gift cards. So it's pretty rare I buy anything from Newegg anymore. But this is one thing left. So let me jump over there and we'll type in Malwarebytes. It is nearly always on sale, and if it isn't, it will be soon. So this is $24.99, which is $15 off. It's supposed to be $39.99. And this one license code will work on 3 devices. You can use the same license code 3 times on 3 different devices, and it's active for 1 year, but the year starts on the first device you activate it on, because it's all the same code. So if you have a 3-device code and you use that code on your computer, then your 1 year starts now, the minute you put it on. And if a month later you decide to put it on another computer, you put the same code in again, you now have 11 months left of that year. So you can do a total of 3, $25, but wait, there's a $10 off promo code that brings that price down to $14.99. That makes each one of these licenses worth $5. What if I only need 2 devices? Well, 2 devices, they have a code here, $12 off, $40. Oh, this is the VPN, never mind that. Here's 5 devices for 1 year for $50. And that makes each of those codes $10 a piece, and there does not appear at this time to be a promo code. So that's $10 per license. So you go, well, wouldn't it be cheaper to buy 6 licenses for $50? Sorry, it'd be $10 off. So that'd be $15 times 2, that'd be $30. That would give you 6 licenses. You could totally do that, and they would be $5 a piece. But usually on Newegg, you can only buy a quantity of 2. That's it. You can't buy 3 or 4. You can't come back tomorrow. So they limit the quantity per buyer to 2. At least they always have in the past. I'm assuming they still are. So if you needed 10 licenses, you could get 6, right, at $5 a piece, but that doesn't help you with your last 4, unless you have somebody else with their account on Newegg buy it, and then they're limited to 2. If you buy the codes today, but you don't use them till next year, they still work. But the minute you activate one device, the clock starts, period, for that license code. And if you're using the same license code on 4 other devices, whatever device was activated first is when your clock started ticking down from 1 year. And you've got a year to put it on 4 other devices, and they will all 5 devices, if you choose to put it on all 5 devices, they will all expire on the same day. So if you see a sale going on and you don't need it right now, you can buy it safely and store your code where you can find it later, so that when you run out of time, you can then not have to wait for another sale. You can just use the code you've never used before. And then boom, your clock starts again. And since they're all going to end on the same day anyway, you might as well do them all at the same time. So right here, 10 devices for $90, no discount code. That's $10 license. That's twice the price. This is the VPN service. This is not Malwarebytes. This is Malwarebytes with the privacy VPN service. So this combines the Malwarebytes malware product and the Malwarebytes VPN product together with one code that you can use on 4 different devices for $83. So what if you just wanted one license for just one normal license for 1 year? It's $15. And you go, well, but I can get 3 licenses for $15. Well, only because it's on sale right now, but there's almost always a sale. And so I will buy these when they're on sale. I'll buy the max quantity of 2, and I just have to keep track of which product key I'm using until I've run out of devices, because I don't want to use one product key then the other product key and have both years ticking down and then have the others expire, within days of each other. So hopefully that can save you some money. And you'll get the codes in email. I know it says boxed version available. You don't need the boxed version. You download Malwarebytes from Malwarebytes. Run it in the trial mode. It's fully functional during the trial period. Why waste your money on subscription if you get it for free for a couple weeks? And then after it expires, or maybe you're just a couple days from expiring, well, from Malwarebytes, not you, then go ahead and order it on Newegg. And within minutes of your order, you'll get an email with your license code. Don't lose that email. That's your license code. That's good for activating on the number of devices you bought the code for. If it's a 5-device code, it can be used on 5 different devices within the year. And whatever amount of time remains in the year from the time you started the first one is what the others can get. So if I wait 6 months to use the second one, then I only have 6 months left on all of them. They all tick down together. And if you find that too confusing, then you can buy an individual subscription for 3 times the price for each device that starts the day you activate it. And so if you activate one this month and one next month, then the one next month, its clock starts on its own. But if you're using the exact same product code on 4 different devices or 5, whatever the number is, then whatever that activation was activated the first time with that license code, that's the amount of time left on the license code, not left on the device. But it does turn out to be, it is left on the device because it's based on your subscription code. So you can optionally choose to buy individual subscriptions to have them individually end at different times. But if you have one code that you can use over multiple computers, multiple devices, they will all expire on the same day, regardless of when you activated them. I know I've talked a lot about that because a lot of people have a hard time comprehending it. So I'm trying to phrase it 6 different ways so that it makes sense to everybody. Have I succeeded? Oh no. David Graham joins us. Says hello. There's Patrick T saying he's been using paid version of Malwarebytes for years. Yeah, me too. All right, well, I think we're about 10 minutes away from the 2-hour mark. I think we've got this fixed. I think whatever it was, again, I'm not quite sure. Some pretty interesting things happened today. That's all I can tell you. It's been an interesting Wednesday, but it's not terrible. It's not like the building burned down, knock on wood. And hopefully it'll be another 6 or 7 years before it happens again. It's not like this has ever happened before. This is brand new territory for us. So we appreciate your understanding and your patience. When we do live videos, anything goes. So normally things go pretty much according to plan. But some things, like I said, you just got to accept. You can't control the weather. You know, there's certain areas of life you just got to roll with it, deal with it. And I wanted to nip this in the bud today, and I wanted to do a test broadcast because if I didn't fix it, I still need time the rest of tonight to work on it. Because tomorrow, sitting right over here, is what we were planning to do today, which is the WOE. This is a budget mini PC. And, you know, it's a lot of work to review these, between showing you what's in the box, going over the individual specs, what kind of RAM, how much RAM, what kind of storage, how much storage, is it upgradable to 2.5 inch? Does it have more than one M.2 slot? Is it Gen 3? Is it Gen 4? What about the drive? How big is it? How fast is it? So we got to run Crystal Disk Mark. We got to go through the Windows setup. Check in and see. We got Windows 11 Home, Windows 11 Pro. What version? 23H2, 24H2. What about the drivers? What about the network? What kind of Wi-Fi is it? Who makes it? What Bluetooth is it? What version? What network card does it have? Does it have multiple network jacks or just one? Is it Realtek? Is it Intel? Is it MediaTek? Is it 1 gig, 2.5 gig, 10 gig? What about opening it up? Can we see the inside of it? What's the BIOS look like? What are the options in the BIOS? You can go through one of these for days. So I try to cram as much of that as I can and do a 2 to 3 hour video. And that's what we tried to do today. But given I'm told how bad the glitch was, the video was not watchable. And there'd be nothing more frustrating to me than to go through all that effort and have nothing to recover from it. Because if it's happening to you guys, then my recording is likely also glitching, meaning I can't even save the recording. It'd be like if I muted my microphone and I didn't realize it, I would be recording locally the video without audio while broadcasting the video without audio. I can't go back and fix that in editing. It's all trash. I got to start all over again. So at least we avoided that. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're going to do what we were supposed to do today. Frankie B said it made a great video. Thanks for the video. Yeah, sometimes you go on a road trip, right? And you see a sign that says something, you're like, what's that? I don't know, let's go check it out. And that turns out to be the highlight of the whole damn road trip. When Mara and I drove to Michigan, we're just in middle of nowhere, Missouri. And there's this huge plaza called the Uranus Fudge Factory. Well, we got to stop at the Uranus Fudge Factory. What the hell? It's not like it was on the map. It wasn't on the, it's on somebody's map. It wasn't on our map. We're just driving and the billboards start showing up. There's nothing really to look at but mountains in Missouri. There's a place called Uranus Fudge Factory, 50 miles ahead. Well, we're going another 400 miles ahead, so we're going to pass it anyway. Highlight of the trip. Just saying. The Uranus Fudge Factory. Google it. Fudge was pretty good. And when you make your purchase, they always say, thank you for picking Uranus. The jokes never end. It's always the same joke, and it never ends. And it's always funny. All right. That is going to wrap it up for us for today. We're darn near at 2 hours. I feel pretty confident. Whatever it was, we may never know. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Unless it happens again. If it happens again, we're probably going to know. So thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you for your patience today and working with me, helping me out here to verify everything's working okay. Thank you to Mark Chambers and Craig Casabona for your super chats. Also, our friend Buster, as always, joining us from Scotland with a super chat gift card. We appreciate that very much. Hope Buster's doing well. I'm sure he's asleep by now. Always good to see our friends in the chat room, our members, and our friends like Frankie B and David Graham and Mark Gaines and Luke Greeny. Always happy to see you guys, John Paul Bacon, all of you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight on this bizarre Wednesday. And I think I'll quit while I'm ahead. I hope you'll come back and join me tomorrow at 1 o'clock so we can pick up what we were supposed to do today, tomorrow. And we'll see if this machine's any good, if I recommend it or not. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Tomorrow, for magically producing thumbnails and titles in a moment's notice so we could make this video immediately out of schedule. And then I don't have to have a sleepless night tonight wondering, is it going to work tomorrow? I think we're going to be okay. So with that, have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Until then, bye for now. I'm looking for an outro. Let's see if it works.